I am continuing in my reading. What I'm doing in this series is to read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am continuing reading in a chronological order, according to event, not according to publication or volume, so I'm skipping around a bit as I move along. So we are continuing in the Gospels. Christ is still in the area of Galilee. People in Jerusalem are still trying to kill him, so he remains generally in Galilee during this time. He's been preaching a lot, doing a lot of miracles. His last sermon on, a house divided and all that, and then he had a number of parables, the sower, the wheat and tares, all those things. We read all of those preaching. Now the last thing we read is after this preaching, he casts off into the ship to cross the lake, as it says, but we're talking about the Sea of Galilee. He's in one place and he wants to go to the other side of the sea. And that's when a big storm comes up, he calms the storm. We read about that in all three Gospels. We are now going to pick this up in Matthew chapter 8, and we're going to read verses 28 through 34. It's not a long reading, but it's a very famous story. In this video, we have a Joseph Smith translation. Now, what the Joseph Smith translation is, this is a translation or correction done by Joseph Smith to restore those passages that have been lost or corrupted over the years. So let us read. And when he was come to the other side into the country of the Gergesenes, there met him two possessed with devils, coming out of the tombs, exceeding fierce, so that no man might pass by that way. And behold, they cried out, saying, What have we to do with thee, Jesus, thou Son of God? Art thou come hither to torment us before the time? And there was a good way off from them a herd of many swine feeding. So the devils besought him, saying, If thou cast us out, suffer us to go away into the herd of swine. And he said unto them, Go. And when they were come out, they went into the herd of swine, and behold, the whole herd of swine ran violently down a steep place into the sea, and perished in the waters. And they that kept them fled, and went their ways into the city, and told everything, and what was befallen to the possessed of the devils. And behold, the whole city came out to meet Jesus. And when they saw him, they besought him that he would depart out of their coasts. Just some brief notes in the footnotes here. First of all, where it says coasts, this means borders. This is the region of the town. You have the town and you have the lands around it that kind of belong to the town. They're saying don't just leave the town itself, but leave all the region that belongs to the town. And when it says the tombs, I don't know if this is talking about an actual cemetery or if it's just talking about a place of a lot of caverns. Because back in the day, the tombs would be natural caves. You may carve them out and work them a little bit, but it would be natural caverns. And so the tombs could just be referring to a place of natural caverns near the shore of the sea. Now, the Gergesenes, this would be a reference to the town of Gergesa on the eastern shore of the Sea of Galilee, which we will talk about again as we continue reading the story in the other Gospels. Right now, though, we turn to the Joseph Smith translation. Oh, this is nice. It's interesting here. In verse 28, we have, instead of there met him two possessed with devils, it is corrected to met him a man possessed with devils, only one. And then at the end, the last clause there, so that no man might pass by that way, is simplified, so that no man could pass that way. But we do have in the alternate Joseph Smith translation, the second manuscript, where it says, there met him two men possessed of devils. So is it a man or two men? Even the Joseph Smith translation doesn't seem to clarify that. Verse 29, we change they to he, which would indicate that there's only one. So that it's not they cried, but he cried. So there might be a scribal error on that second manuscript of the Joseph Smith translation. In verse 31, we change, it says, suffer us to go away into the herd of swine, corrected to suffer us to go into the herd of swine. Just take out the away. It makes it flow better. Verse 33, and told everything and what was befallen to the possessed of the devils. We have the correction. And told everything which took place and what was befallen the possessed of the devils. Then in 34, the word coasts is simply singular now, coast. So that is interesting here. We will see why it's interesting as we read the story in the other Gospels. But he does seem to correct it to be only one man being possessed instead of two. Keep that in mind as we continue. We leave this video here. We will pick this up in Mark, reading the same story, so I will see you there.